The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. President Duterte downplays accusations that PDP Laban standard bearer Bato Dela Rosa is merely the placeholder for her daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte. In an interview with SMNI News channel, Duterte said he believes that Sara is true to her word and is firm in her decision not to run for president. The president added that he only accompanied De La Rosa during his filing for moral support. Duterte said De La Rosa was chosen by PDP Laban as their presidential candidate as they believe it's necessary to at least have someone leading their team. For now, Duterte stressed that the presidency is not for Sara yet and that she may still get similar opportunities in the future.
Inday is definitely out, as he has said earlier, and for the oft-repeated statements in so many, I think, interviews. She had always maintained that she's not running. Inday is young, and there will always be some opportunities in the future for her.
Vice President Leni Robredo, meanwhile, welcomes the overwhelming public support after announcing her presidential candidacy in the 2022 elections. Speaking on her weekly radio show, Robredo admitted that she lacks machinery and resources now for the upcoming polls as compared to her 2016 vice presidential run. But Robredo said she is still overwhelmed by the public support, which serves as floodgates of volunteerism, where even those apolitical are making their stand.
Pero nakikita namin ngayon ka, Eli, ibang-iba. After the announcement, ang dami nagbo-volunteer, ang daming gumagastos ng sariling pera. Ang mga ka-Eli, nakikita ko na lang sa Facebook. Ang dami nag-iisip ng mga paraan kung paano makatulong.
Robredo also congratulated journalist Maria Ressa for being one of the 2 awardees of this year's Nobel Prize or Peace Prize. She expressed hope that the public would understand the weight and relevance of the award for the country.
Sobrang deserving ni Maria Ressa. Yun yung sa akin lang, nagpapasalamat tayo sa kanya. Pero at the same time, sana naiintindihan natin yung bigat ng award na to. Na si Maria Ressa, siya yung nakikipaglaban para yung freedom of the press, yung freedom of expression, patuloy na mapangalagaan.
The National Police sets its sights on security preparations for the Undas break with the certificate of candidacy filing period now officially over. PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar said early security preparations have been proven effective in ensuring the safety of the public in major events. Eleazar reminded the public to plan ahead.
Memorial Parks at Columbarium, lalo na at nasa gitna pa tayo ng pandemya.
MRT3 resumes full operations following a fire incident near the Guadalupe station on Saturday. Though there were no casualties and major injuries reported, 4 individuals sustained minor injuries like bruises after jumping off the train to get to the rail track. Because of the incident, the MRT3 management had to cut train services from the North Avenue station to the Shaw Boulevard station, but operations have resumed this morning. Sumitomo Corporation, the maintenance provider of the MRT3, has apologized to the passengers affected. The management is now conducting an investigation into the fire and assured passengers that they will take countermeasures to ensure the safety of the MRT3. COVID-19 survivors may be at higher risk for serious heart issues 1 year after infection. Let's find out more in this video.
Do we know yet what the cardiac complications are?
We don't know for sure, but what we do know is that the overall rates of these sorts of cardiac complications are pretty low. So what we really need, unfortunately, even though it is a month and a half or a year and a half in, we still need more research to figure this out.
The percentage numbers are there, and we can all do scientific notation, 10 to the minus whatever. Forget about the math of it. People are going to compare cardiac internal medicine complications to, say, the flu or a cold or pneumonia. Are they equivalent, or is this much worse?
It is worse. It's substantially worse than the flu or the cold. Pneumonia depends on what kind of pneumonia you're talking about. But we can draw the comparisons all we want. This is still a more deadly and a more serious infection by far than just the flu or the cold.
And Dr. Dowdy, this brings up long COVID and what we know in terms of how long COVID lasts, how prevalent these long existing symptoms are. What's the latest on that?
So the prevalence of these symptoms depends on who you compare it to, but it's certainly a real thing, and certainly at least 1 in 10 to 20 people experience these symptoms beyond 3 months. How long it lasts, we're still figuring that out. The longer you go, the fewer symptoms there are, but it definitely persists, and for some people has persisted as long as we've been tracking their symptoms.
Meanwhile, Dr. Dowdy, it is getting cooler. Kids are back in school for the most part, and they are starting to expose each other to whatever germs they have, despite the best efforts to keep their masks on. Are illnesses that are not COVID more severe because of the 1-year hiatus between getting infected with anything? Are our immune systems down so much that other illnesses can have a more severe impact?
So it's probably not because of the immune system being down, but rather because our immune systems haven't seen these things for a year and a half, because we've all been hunkering down. It's possible. We don't know if things like the flu are going to be more serious this year, but it's definitely a possibility, and it's something we're keeping an eye on. It's all the more important to get that flu vaccine this year.
Is Delta fading away? Is the Delta virus fading away? I think it was the India virus before it was the Delta virus. I can't remember now. But, I look at the maps in the Washington Post, the New York Times, Bloomberg, the wonderful FT work, great. Can you say we've really rounded the corner?
I think we have rounded the corner. It doesn't mean that there's not another surge in front of us, but cases are definitely going down, and all those cases are Delta. So I wouldn't say it's fading away. We're still at about 100,000 cases a day, so it's still a big deal. But it is going down, and it looks to be a real trend.
Where are we on masks? I was on Fifth Avenue yesterday, and I noticed for the first time a real dearth of masks out there. There were a lot of people walking around without masks on in a very fully vaccinated New York City as well. Where do you stand on masks, Dr. Dowdy?
Well, I think right now we're still seeing enough transmission that it's still a smart thing to wear masks. It's more important indoors than outdoors, but I think we're still in a place where we need to be keeping those masks on.
Dr. Dowdy, I got to be honest, people are getting sick of COVID. We're kind of done with this, and I'm wondering how long we can have to sort of keep going at some of these same topics again and again at a time when we do have prevalence, but hospitalizations are going down. When can we stop?
Yeah, well, I think I'm sick of it too, but I think that we still have a little ways to go. I do hope that this surge might be the last big surge, and we might be turning that corner. So there's reason to hope that in the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to be back down to where things were before, though no one can ever say for sure. I do think that we're going to be living with this for, at some level for many years, but hopefully not at the kind of, to where it's going to be making on your news stations all the time.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. Davao City Mayor and presidential daughter Sara Duterte has tested positive for COVID-19. Her office says the younger Duterte only has mild symptoms and will be placed under isolation. The Davao City government also advises residents or workers that came in close contact with Sara to self-monitor for symptoms and to get tested. Now, for those who have yet to register for the 2022 polls, heads up, the COMELEC will resume accepting applicants nationwide starting tomorrow. COMELEC offices will accept the voter registrations only on weekdays and on the last day, October 30, which is a Saturday. Schedules for registration may vary in satellite registration centers, but it will run from 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. in COMELEC offices. And Phil-American Sophia Frank makes history in Philippine figure skating despite being a newcomer in the national team. The 16-year-old figure skater set the highest ever score for a Filipina in an ISU international competition short program with her routine in Finland. Frank finished 17th in a field of 26 skaters in the TIFF, scoring 53.30 to begin her campaign. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on a Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.